Keto and low carb have become very popular because they're addressing the main problem of our times, which is insulin resistance. When we eat carbohydrates, and especially sugar, we trigger insulin. Insulin is a storage hormone. So most people on a modern diet have become much, much better at storing calories and fat than to burning calories and fat. Most people have lost the ability to burn fat appropriately because there's so much food and so much sugar available that our insulin levels and our blood sugar levels stay on a constant high. Keto or ketosis or a ketogenic diet, keto is a physiological state. It's what happens when you switch from carbohydrate metabolism to a dominant fat metabolism. When the vast majority of your energy comes from fat, then your body produces ketones. It's a byproduct of that fat burning. And if you have above baseline measurable amounts of ketones, that means you are predominantly burning fat, which is a good thing if you're trying to lose weight or reverse insulin resistance. Most people have to eat somewhere between 20 to 50 grams of net carbs to be in ketosis. And what's a net carb? You take the whole amount, the whole number of carbohydrates in the food, and then you subtract the fiber, because the fiber is something that we don't digest. It is there to fill out, to provide bulk. It gives your intestines some work to do, but you don't absorb it. It provides no blood sugar, no calories, no energy, so we don't count it. We subtract it and end up with net carbs. And if your net carbs are 20 to 50, then for the most part, you're going to be in ketosis. But there will be exceptions. Some people have to do that either for a very, very long time, or they have to go even lower. 20 to 50 grams on a 2,000 calorie diet means you're eating 4 to 10% of calories from carbohydrate. On the other extreme, on the other end of the spectrum, is the STAD diet, the Standard American Diet. And I know that's totally appropriate acronym. And according to the official guidelines, you should eat 45 to 65% of your calories from carbohydrates. It's backwards. Because if you're going to describe insulin resistance in one word, it would be, in my opinion, it would be overload. And when we overload the body with carbohydrate, with things that stimulate insulin, now we get a high insulin level. And that's not so bad if it happens once or twice, but if this becomes chronic, if we do this every day or several times a day, like we're told to do, we're told to eat high carbohydrate meals many times a day with frequent snacks, now this leads to insulin resistance, and now we have a chronic condition. But the blood glucose that they measure is the last thing to focus on. We need to understand that insulin resistance is a survival mechanism, and it happens on two different levels. First of all, it's at the species level. So if humans didn't have the ability to develop a little bit of insulin resistance, we wouldn't be as good at storing energy. So back when we were hunter-gatherers, when we had a lot to eat, maybe in the summer and not so much in the winter, it was a good thing to be a little insulin resistant, because that would allow us to overeat and to store the extra energy for future use. If we were a little extra padded with fat, we could survive the winter better. If you were super insulin sensitive and you couldn't put on a lot of fat, you might have a six-pack to show off, but you may not make it through the winter. But that's not so much a problem anymore, I think you would agree. And the insulin resistance we talk about today is more about the cellular level. And that is what we need to have a look at.